Welcome to the Evening Review. My name is Osaghae, and joining us in studio is disgruntled microlender, Frank Osaghae, who has a bone to pick with the Microlenders Association of Namibia. Welcome to the Evening Review.
Yeah, thank you so much.
In a recent interview published in the Namibian Sun, you had alleged that black microlenders are being discriminated against by the Microlenders Association of Namibia. Could you just, just let us into why you think or you feel that black microlenders are being discriminated against?
Okay, thank you. When you say discrimination, why you don't have an instances of discrimination, you can have a pattern of discrimination. The pattern being that I think the Microlenders Association was founded in 1998. It was majorly for the white people. Over time, the black people start to go into the industry. We became part of it, but mind you, before we went into the industry, the white people has been there. You understand? So they feel entitled. They have been leading it. They've been the trend has been around them. So over the years, they created a constitution that they created for themselves in a pattern like. They have what it takes. They have what it takes to stand for re-election. The Constitution stipulates that they can continue to stand for re-elections. When they stand for re-elections, they win these re-elections. The black people are nowhere to be seen at the hands of affair. We are just there looking at them. Where I noticed that the current chairman of the association has been there for so many years. That is my question. I said, look. Why will you be in an association, a public association, where everybody is inclusive, but you stayed there for so many years? You've been there as a chairman for so many years. All of you, from the administrator to the other executives, they are all white people. So we as black people, we can't help but feel that we are discriminated. Though you don't say it verbally, that you don't want us there, but when we start seeing you as the white people, we go to the meeting, you say, okay, we are electing the new leaders. We go there, the new leaders are actually the same people from last year, last 3 years, the prior year, the same people on a yearly basis. This is one of the issues we are having in the organization. We say, no, we can't take this anymore. There should be a pattern of changes where everybody is included. I wouldn't want to be in the place when I get there, I don't see somebody that looks like me. The first year, the second year, the third year, I keep seeing somebody that's different from me. You make me feel like I'm not welcome. I'm segregated. Though you say that we are all inclusive, but that is not the point. What I see by actions tells me that the black people are not wanted.
But then, if one now has to look at executive committee or the board of the association, shouldn't its composition be based on the skills that people bring to the table rather than the skin color? Because it's a tangible, it's a non-tangible. I mean, what effect does it have? How does this really go against them? How does this really affect a black microlender who's trying to grow in the industry?
Yeah, when you say skills, it depends on your definitions of skills. Is it educational skills? If that is what you refer to, are you saying educational skills?
Not the technical skills,
or administrative skills.
Or the administrative skills.
If you say administrative skills, I think that you must understand that we have so many talented people. Before we started our own micro lending, administrative skill is part of the macro lending as a business. If you don't have an administrative skills, you cannot do a macro lending. You cannot be a micro lender. So if that is absent from you, forget it. You cannot handle it. I think if we are saying administrative skills, we have so many of our people. I just want to quickly say, this is not all about being black or being white, because some people will say, Frank, you are being racist. This is not about racism. It's all about a level playing field. where everybody can feel belong. I make an example of one of the letters I sent to the micro lending industry. I make an example of our president. I said, if our president being a Demara by tribe, if you look at the members of his cabinet, it is all inclusive. You see the Vambus, you see the Damaras, you see the white people. They are there in there. But if the president start to elect people of his tribe in all the administrative positions, and the other tribes start to say, no, my tribe is not there, they will feel being biased too. That is the normal mindset of every human being. So it's not really based on skill. We have skillful people who are out there. We are saying that we want a level playing field. Of course, by merit. If you don't have administrative skills, you can lead people. But have you tried it? You haven't tried it. You haven't given people a chance to what can you be done? What can you do? What skill do you have? You understand? You can't tell me that these certain people over the years, for more than 3, 4, 5 years, 6 years, if not more, they are the only skillful people that have what it takes to lead this association. That is the bias. That is the pattern it has been. That is what we are willing to. We want to fight it. We want to end it.
And then, have you? What are some of the efforts that you've engaged in to try and shake the association of its, if I may put it like this, its white tag at that level? Okay.
Before I get there. When I start to see a trend in our association, I see this trend. I wrote them a letter. I told them I said to them on my letter, I made a proposal. I said, can the leadership of the MLA be structured in an all-inclusive ethnicity? What I mean by that is, we can have. Currently, they have 5 executives. Currently, I said, okay, can we make it on a level playing field? 3 black people as an administrator, 3 white people as an administrator. That gives me confidence that I am not just in an association where I am being left behind. That tells me that when I come there, I see somebody that looks like me. It tells me, what? Okay, this person, somebody that looks like me is there. I don't feel like I'm left out. I have written them on several occasions. I have told them, a letter has been written, I have said it, but they have kept mute. They don't want to talk about that. I'll say this. When we became part of this organization, we joined because non-FISA, it is one of the mandatory requirements for non-FISA. For the micro lender, if you are a micro lender, you must belong to an association. It is one of the mandatory requirements. So the association that we knew at that time, and we still know at this time, is the MLA. We became part of it. We joined it. Because we believe that our regulator, non-FISA, if they are the one that approve this organization, who are we to doubt it? Because we believe non-FISA as a regulator, they trust this association. So we join it. But over time, when I start saying that things are not going the way it should be, we now start to see some things that is not being properly done. We question, why is this thing done this way? They now refer us to the Constitution. I spent some days reading this Constitution. Because one of the questions I had for this executive, I said, why is it that the same people on a yearly basis keep standing for re-election, they keep winning the re-election? I was wondering, and a public organization where, so to say, the micro lending industry, micro lender are supposed to be. We're all black, white people, Damaras, Vambus, colored, from different spectrums of life. So I said, look, this is not done. They refer me to the Constitution. The letter that was sent to me by the chairman, he made reference on several occasions, referring me to the Constitution. We have never read the Constitution. I have never read it. Most people have not read the Constitution. We trust this organization that they stand for us. So I said, okay, let me spend some time to go read this Constitution. I find out some things that doesn't make sense. You cannot write a constitution that leverage you in the hands of affair on a yearly basis. There should be a time you say to yourself as a chairman or any executive and say, look, this is time. I have been here for some time, 2-3 years. Let me stay down for somebody else to come in. When people comes in, they bring in their idea. When people come in, they bring them their knowledge. Because when we keep living in the same regime, things doesn't change. But you decide to tell yourself that the executive can stand for re-election. How long will you continue to stand for re-election? If you're telling us that the executive can stand for re-election maybe for 2 terms, we understand. That is understandable by everyone. We know, okay, the first term you stay for 2 years, the next time you stand for re-election for another 2 years. We know you are going. But when you keep standing for re-election on a yearly basis, you keep winning the re-election with the way it is structured, that has become questionable. Why? Our question is this. Why are you there as a chairman or your crew? Why are you guys there on a yearly basis? What are you guys benefiting from there that you don't want we other micro lenders to get to know or benefit? So it's more of a bias, it's more biased to us who are looking and seeing that these same people, they are there on a yearly basis. Does it make sense to us?
This EXCO committee or board, what powers do they have? what privileges do they have? And just to give perspective of the power that they may potentially yield.
Okay. You see, the Constitution stipulates that they can expel, they can dismiss you from the association. I think that was created for their leverage. If in the future they have anyone who will challenge them, they can be able to say, look, you are no more part of us. That is exactly what they have done for me, done to me. Because when I read, okay, the letter they sent me few weeks ago, the reason why they are dismissing me from the association is because, one, is I wrote then, after I read the Constitution, I said there is no Norman organization that will craft a constitution, a general constitution this way. That this constitution leverage a certain individual, a certain people to continue to be in the hands of affair. Because over the years, I didn't read it, we didn't read it. I don't think most people didn't read it because we're just there on the trust of Nanfisa. So after we have read it, we said, no, this is not right. I sent an email telling them, because they say that I was one of the people that adopted the Constitution. That's okay. If you are saying, I don't know how I adopted it, I don't know when it was adopted, but that is what they said, you understand? We have had several meetings. So many things have been said in the meeting, so I don't know how it was adopted. So if they are saying that our company was one of the companies that adopted the Constitution, I said, okay, it's fine. This is not the Constitution I want to belong. This is not the Constitution I want to adopt. I sent an email and said, no, I withdraw my signatory from the Constitution. That is what I did. So when this issue starts coming up and we start making trying to get more transparency in the organization, they wrote me a letter last week, last week, and say that because I repudiate, that I'm going to use their word on what they wrote on the letter. They say that I repudiate, and I continue to repudiate the Constitution. Because of that, I have lost my membership to that Constitution. And then I asked them, are you saying that if I belong to a certain fraternity, let me use the word fraternity, if I belong to a certain fraternity that I entered into it because of certain levels of trust, and now I discover that in that fraternity, what I see is not what I expect to see. It doesn't matter how many years. It doesn't matter how long I've been there. You understand? And suddenly I saw, wow, this is not what I want to be. It's my right. You don't force your constitution on me. That is why we are human. It's my constitutional right to tell you this is what I want, this is what I don't want. So that is the issue we are having on ground now.
We'll dig into more issues related to the Microlenders Association of Namibia. Yeah. But before we do, quickly like to go for a short commercial break. Do stay tuned.
Bookings for Namibia Tourism Expo 2022 are open. The expo will take place from 3 to 5 November 2022 in Windhoek. To secure your booking, visit nte.nmh.com.na. And for more information on the expo, follow all Namibia Media Holdings platforms. The expo is supported by the Ministry of Environment, Tourism and Forestry, Namibia Tourism Board, FENATA, City of Windhoek, and Namibia Media Holdings. Namibia Tourism Expo, taking tourism to the regions.
Straight Talk is a debate competition for high school learners and a spelling competition for primary school learners, mostly focusing on current affairs among the youth. Contact Zone at synergy.com.na to share your products and services. Straight Talk. Don't raise your voice, improve your argument.
Welcome back to the Namibian, to the evening review. I'm sorry. You have in the past alleged that the MLA is not open to how it uses membership fees paid over to it on an annual basis. My question is the MLA compelled to state how it uses membership fees, and and have they in the past indicated how our membership fees have been spent?
On an annual basis, I think we normally have our AGM, annual general meeting, on in November of every year. We have that. It's there on the slide, how the money was spent, how things was being done. They do that, you understand? For me, I see some bogus expenses. Something looks so bogus and questionable. The Constitution, the Article 11.8 of the Constitution. This is one of the things I question the MLA for. It stipulates that, okay, first of all, the executives that has been leading the MLA for so many years, they get paid remuneration. They get paid salaries. Unfortunately, because I was not accustomed to the Constitution, only when I started reading it, they said, no, they are entitled to be paid a salary. And the Constitution says that anybody employs in the Micro Lending Association have right to gratuity, have right to pension. I started to look at that like, this is an organization, it's not a company. A company, when you start to have right to the salary, I will understand. But when you, an organization where you start to have right to gratuities and pension, to me, it starts to look like it's more of you trying to save for your future. You're trying to save for yourself. And that also gives me a clue why these individuals have been there for so many years. Because if you are entitled to pension, I believe, I want to say this quickly, I believe when they say if you are employed in the association, I believe that could it be, they can interpret this the way they want. Could it be that the elected officials, the 5 elected officials, executive, could that be an employment? How many people, are you part of the employment benefits of the MLA? When you are elected as an executive, does that denote you are employed? Does it connote employment? So that is something they should explain to the general house. So if it denotes that you are employed, that means you get gratuity as an employee of MLA, then you get pension as an employee of MLA. So the articles I was referring earlier, Articles 11, number 8 of the Constitution stipulates this, that the executive of the organization, their remuneration shall be determined on time in the general and in the annual general meeting. That is what this Constitution says. The remuneration shall be determined on time, on a yearly basis, or whatever the phrase is. That it should be determined by the general members of the association. We have asked them, how much is the remunerations that you are being paid? Because if the Constitution is saying that the general members of the association determine what is your remuneration package, you have never in the general meeting tell us how much do any one of you gets paid. You never give the members of the association the privilege, the right, by the Constitution that you have crafted, that you drafted, to say, look, the members of the House, this is the elected officials, let's determine how much they are getting paid by the Constitution you drafted. It has never been there. When we ask you people, how much are you getting paid? You say that what you get paid cannot quantify what you do. We ask you, what do you do as an executive of the MLA? What we get as micro lenders is, on a weekly basis, we get newsletter. They send us some ET. The ET we already know about. NAFISA tells us about the ET. You understand? They tell us about the ET. We don't really know what they do. We want to belong to an association where we can be able to say, this is what we benefit. I asked them, I said, look, we pay 630 on a monthly basis, 630 Namibian dollar on a monthly basis.
Roughly how many micro lenders would they be?
Okay, like the other time I had a meeting with NAFISA. One of the NAFISA officials says that by what they have on record, the members of the micro lenders, that is part of the members, what they have on record is 24 members. Okay, if we are 24 members, this is how it's done. If my company as ISO Finance, if I have 10 branches, those branches are registered differently with the association. That means with the 10 branches, each one of the branches, they pay $630 differently. You understand? So if how many members we are individually, that doesn't count. It's how many branches.
Sure.
You understand? So when you put all of this together, it makes it the last sum. You understand? So we say, like, what do we benefit? We pay $630 on a monthly basis. What is the benefit of the members? What do we have here? Why are we paying this? The question, the answer they give to us is, the money is there for legal liabilities. We are fighting the government, the regulations that want to put a strain on our financial activities. Okay? If that is the case, you don't pay a legal fee every day, every month. Lawyers are paid when they do their jobs. You don't fight government on the daily basis. If you are fighting the government, how many times do you guys go to court? So what is this money being done? I'll tell you this. Some funny things I read about the Constitution that the members may not know. The Constitution stipulates that they can enter into contracts. So I asked them, what kind of contract? If this is an association that represents the Micro Lender Association, I see that what they did is that they drafted there's a business side of the organization that the members do not know, they are not aware of, until you read about it. You read it in the Constitution. Now, this is it. It says that they can invest, they can do investment. It stipulates that they can enter into contracts. It stipulates that they can lease, they can hire, they can purchase, they can buy movable or immovable properties. They can retain if they want to retain. And not asking themselves. So these business activities of the MLA, who is the beneficiaries of this business? And we the members, we want to find out how do we have properties that we are not aware of? Do we have movable property that we are not aware of? Is there something you guys are doing behind us that we are not aware of? Because you don't come to us in an annual general meeting. We are sitting there in an annual general meeting. You put this on slide. We are watching some slide. You say, no, this is what happened. This is the articles. This is NAFISA. This is government thing. This is how much we have spent for legal costs. This is how much remunerations. You give us some bogus figures that we don't want that. We don't want that. We want the comprehensive things. Does the organization have movable or immovable properties, like you stipulate on the Constitution? We want to know, because this is what it is. If we don't know now as members,
excuse me,
as we don't know as members, tomorrow this association can be liquidated and somebody claims that thing for himself. We want to know. The members deserve to know. They deserve to know, do we have such property? We keep asking these questions. The president, Mr. Ronald Weber, he's been there for so many years. He is I'll say that he's the kingmaker when it comes to every other one. Him decide. Another thing I find out is that the association do not have a treasurer. It stipulates that the committee, the management committee, they shall play the role of a treasurer. That becomes questionable. You don't run a public organization. You, as a management committee, you can enter into contracts. You don't run an organization. You, as a management committee, you can decide whatever you choose to decide, and the members is not aware. Whatever you decide becomes the law. People should be able to know what is happening. We want transparency. You understand? They have written and says that no, on a yearly basis we have our annual, we have our auditor. But what we are saying is this: fine, we understand you have your auditor. For the sake of transparency, we don't say you are corrupt. We are not accusing you that you are corrupt. We don't say somebody is corrupt, they are cutting away our money or they are doing some things. What we say is, prove to us that you are not corrupt. That's what we're saying. We didn't say you're corrupt.
On that note, we've unfortunately run out of time, and I'm sure that you have more to say.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us on the Evening Review.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in. Good night.
Good night.